we're live. This is Math 40, Elementary Algebra, 4.3, Solving Systems of Equations. We're going to use a new technique called elimination. We are still trying to save Matt Damon from himself. And so where we had left off in 4.2 was that we were solving equations using a technique called substitution. Now, substitution is great, but it's not my favorite. It's kind of a very shoving sort of turducken way of doing things. So what we're going to do with elimination is we're going to use a very special shortcut, and I'm going to show you what the shortcut is. And if you're curious, let me know, and over pronto or email or texting, I will explain why this is true. In Math 40, we go ahead and talk about why this is true, but in Math 60 we do. In Math 40 Elementary Algebra, it is enough to know that you can do this. So we're back to solving. We see we've got two equations. We've got that brace that tells us, okay, we need to solve these together. We need to figure out whether Matt Damon's going to make it off of Mars or not, and back home to make more movies where we have to save him from something else. Anyway, so he's already made the movie about getting saved from math, so that's not an option. I was thinking it would be really interesting in an Inception sort of way for him to star in a systems of equations movie, but that's for another day. I don't have time to write that script right now. So I've got two equations, and I'm going to write them down. I know this is thrilling work here. And I know all the Matt Damon fans are like, yeah, like anyone would pay $14 to come see you talk for 2 hours. And the answer is they do regularly. It's actually my job. Okay, so 3x plus 2y equals 1, 4x minus 2y equals 6. Here's the kicker. If you line equations up with their equal signs, so the equal signs have to line up. This is really, really important. As long as the equal signs are lined up, you're allowed to add equations. Now, part of me really feels like I have to tell you, no, not really. You're not really adding two equations. You're doing something that looks like that. But for our purposes in elementary algebra, we're just going to say, you know what? It looks like a duck. It might as well be a duck. So if it looks like adding equations, we'll call it that. Now, why don't we call it adding? The answer is you do. Solving systems of equations by, and then this whole full name formally is addition by elimination by addition. Sorry, I reversed that. Elimination by addition. But we call it elimination as its nickname. So here we go. 3x plus 4x, 7x. 2y minus 2y. Oh my goodness. That cancels out completely. Isn't that wonderful? And then the equals come down. 1 plus 6 is 7. If 7x equals 7, and I've been a big old hog, I'm going to need a little bit more room, I get x equals 1. Bam. It's that easy. No shoving, no substituting. And Matt Damon is excited because we got an answer. Yay! Happy Matt Damon. Okay, so now what do we have to do? Well, now, I don't even know what I was thinking. I wrote this in the middle of the paper. I was so excited. There's no room. What was I thinking? So let's come up over here. If x equals 1, we need to find y. Now, this is where this method is less fun because since we didn't solve for any variables, we're just going to have to use one of these. I'm going to use the first one, 3x plus 2y equals 1. I'm going to plug in x equals 1. 3 times 1 plus 2y equals 1. 3 plus 2y equals 1, minus 3, minus 3. 2y equals negative 2, divide by 2. I know I'm on a roll, right? Y equals negative 1. Bam. I've got the coordinates. X equals 1, y equals negative 1, or, oh, sorry, let me show you. Or the point, 1, negative 1. And now you're looking at the screen going, that was awfully easy. It's almost like you're trying to trick us into using this method. And the answer is yes, I'm totally trying to trick you into this method because weirdly enough, this method is so much better than the previous method, really and for true. Now, what's the next thing what we should do? Well, here it just says solve, but of course what I will do on the next page is actually check. So let's check this first one. We'll check the answer. What was the answer? 1, -1 in 3x plus 2y equals 1, or 4x minus 2y equals 6. So let's go ahead and check them. Okay, 3 times 1 plus 2 times -1. Does that equal 1? Does 3 minus 2 equals 1? Yep. How about over here? 4 times 1 minus 2 times -1. Does that equal 6? 4. Now, -2 times -1. I get to do it. 2 minuses go together, make a plus. Woohoo! 2 minuses plus. 2 minuses make a plus. Yay! So, both equations worked. We've checked our answer. Our answer is correct. Now, here's a little fun shortcut. I don't know if anything in math can be considered fun. So if we look at the page we just finished, right here, where we found y, where we did this, we worked with 3x plus 2y equals 1. That is exactly what we did right here. We did exactly the same work. So a lot of times the shortcut is you can skip checking the one that you see if I can make this view bigger so I don't keep trying to switch back and forth. Ooh, now you get to see more of how the magic happens. So let's see if I can squish these two together. So the check, where you check the equation, that is the one you use to find the other variable. So this is equation number 1. This check is not required. So this is an optional check if you'd like. If that made sense, go with it. If it doesn't make sense, you know what? The default is check everything. Check everything all the time. And then you won't have to worry because you won't be outside and you won't be in danger. And there aren't any saber-tooth tigers that could eat you when you're inside doing your math. It's true. Saber-tooth tigers are by their nature scared of math. Learn math, never have to worry about saber-tooth tiger. True story, I have never dealt with a saber-tooth tiger in my life. There you go. And I do lots of math. Is it a coincidence? I don't think so. Okay, Matt Damon. How's Matt Damon feel about this one? Well, Matt Damon looks like he's trying too hard. Let's just be honest about it. I picked this picture because it shows him in his little space helmet, but I'm not sure about it. But there you go. Matt Damon is worried. He's on Mars. He wants to know whether we're going to be able to come up with a solution for him. And I'm going to look at these two and I'm going to write them out. I'm very excited because the last problem was so nice and so fast, and there was no shoving or substituting anywhere. And so I'm going to take the two equations and I'm going to add them, and I'm going to get the equal signs are lined up. I get 5x plus 14y equals -57. And then I'm going to go, oh no, there was no elimination. Elimination means to get rid of something. And I didn't get rid of anything. So what happened? Well, the answer is you're going to have to fiddle with these things to get them to add properly. You got to get them all prepared. So this is what I'm going to recommend. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, let's go this way. So I'm going to have more space over here. I have 2x plus 7y equals -27. I've got 3x plus 7y equals -30. And I look at these two and I think, my y's here are awfully close. In fact, they're identically equal. They're both 7s. Now, when I added them over here, I just got 14y. That's not going to work. Now, you would think, well, why don't we subtract them? And the answer is there's a very good reason, but subtraction is bad. Very, very, very bad. We can't do it. I can't tell you why, but it's just bad. So That's the full extent. I cannot tell you. However, if you have like 6 years to sit around and listen to math after 6 years of explaining, I can tell you why we can't subtract. But otherwise, you're just going to take my word for it. Subtraction is bad, very, very bad. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to look at these two and I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by -1. Just because we're using fancy techniques doesn't mean that all the other rules don't apply. The other rules all apply. That's why we call them rules. That's why they are theorems and they are properties and fun things like that. I am always allowed to take any number I want, and I want -1, so there, and multiply times everybody. You could multiply by 12 times everybody. And since this is a single equation, I can just multiply on the bottom by -1. So top equation stays the same, 2x plus 7y equals -27. Down on the bottom, -3x minus 7y equals +30. So take a look at that. Oops, you can't. Ha 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 ha, hilarious. Sorry. Let's see. There you go. There we go. So what did I do? The top equation stayed exactly the same. The bottom equation, -1 times 3x is -3x. -1 times 7y is the opposite of 7y or -7y. -1 times -30 is 30. Now let's add them. Now what happens with these two? These two, one is a plus, one is a minus. They cancel out when I add these. Now, unfortunately, these don't cancel out. 2x minus 3x, I get the opposite of x. Over here, -27 plus 30, I get 3. If the opposite of x equals 3, so I get x equals -3. So far, so good. So Matt Damon is happy we got a single answer. Yay! But he also says, wait a minute. If we've got x, we need to find y. Okay, so let's come over here. I know, look at me. I am possibly not the person you should take to lead you downriver, you know, because I'm like, do-de, 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 do. Oh, sorry. Don't mean to die on camera. So we need to find y. I know you can't see what I'm writing. Trust me. Be patient. Be patient. I'm right here. Hello. Here's Matt Damon. Matt Damon also not patient. He's like, hey, finish this up. So I need to find y. So there we go. Find y. Again, as before, I pick one of the original equations, whichever one. I'm going to take the first one because it's the first one. So 2x plus 7y equals -27. And I know from this that x equals -3. So let's see, -6 plus 7y equals -27. -6 plus 7y equals -27 plus 6 plus 6. 7y equals -21. Oof. I always have just barely enough room. Divide both sides. Oh, but you can't see. And it's no good if you can't see it. Divide both sides by 7. And I get y equals -3. So our final answer is x equals -3, y equals -3. It's kind of interesting, right? Okay, or the coordinates are -3, -3. So shall we go on the back and next page and go ahead and check our answers? Matt Damon says yes. Yay! Okay, so I've got to check the point -3, -3. My first equation is 2x plus 7y equals -27. My second equation is 3x plus 7y equals -30. Okay, right there. So if you remember back here, I used 2x plus 7 equals -27 to find y. So that means on my check, ooh, I almost got it perfect. Wow. 2x plus y equals negative 27. This is the one that's optional. So this one's optional. But again, I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what? It's not going to hurt to do an extra check. So let's do it. 2 times negative 3 plus 7 times negative 3. Does that give me negative 27? Negative 6 plus negative 21. Yeah, that's negative 27. Woohoo. How about on this one? 3 times negative 3 plus 7 times negative 3. Does that equal negative 30? So let's see, negative 9 plus a negative 21. Yep, that equals negative 30. It checked. Woohoo! Happy Matt Damon, we got an answer. Woohoo! Yay! Okay, so when we come back, yet more problems to be solved using elimination. Woohoo!